India, a woman is raped every 15 minutes. So in a span of an hour, 4 women are raped or sexually harassed. And if we multiply this number by 24 hours times 7 days times 365 days a year, that is roughly about 245,000 women who are raped in a year. Yet the majority of the cases that actually occur go unreported. In India, some men take advantage of men due to the Indian view of women being the lesser and the weaker sex. As a young Indian woman myself, my younger brother and I grew up quite differently. My parents, as they grew up in the Indian culture, were always more concerned for me being out late at night, rather than when my younger brother was. When this difference was brought up to my parents, they would point me back to the one horrendous case that happened to a similar young woman. In the current environment, young Indian women are not given the proper justice in rape and sexual harassment cases. In this video, we will be discussing the issue of young women who are victims of rape or molestation and are not given the proper justice due to the lack of fair law enforcement in societal status. In cultures all around our world, females are treated as the lesser sex while males are considered superior. From physical strength to intelligence, some males assert their dominance over females, often in a disrespectful manner. This is especially the case in many parts of India. Women are being treated as rag dolls. They are used and thrown away by men, however and whenever they please. One such devastating case is the Delhi gag rape case that occurred in 2012. On the night of December 16, a 23-year-old female, Nirbhaya, was brutally attacked, tortured and raped by 6 men while traveling in a bus with her male friend. He too was beaten up until he was unconscious, which did not enable him to prevent the further brutal circumstances. She sadly passed away 13 days after the incident. Of the 6 men, one was a minor and so he was released 3 years later, while the rest were sentenced for life imprisonment, and only 8 years later were they given a death sentence. This was just one of the 68,000 rapes that were committed in India from the year 2009 to 2012. And out of those 68,000 cases, only 16,000 rapists were sentenced to life imprisonment. And who knows how many of them were given a death sentence or not. So this fact of only 16,000 rapists convicted from 68,000 cases means that about 52,000 rapists are still out there and are not convicted. These unconvicted cases stem from the caste system and the view that the poorest of the poorest families are condemned to the bottom of the society. This status causes many women to not have the ability to receive justice because of the belief that they would not be heard or valued. There is a general disrespect towards women in many aspects of life. In most Indian religious scriptures itself, such as the Mahabharata, Book 13, Section 40 states, "There's no creature more sinful than women. She's a poison. She's a snake." Other texts say that women are living lies. One case that displays these unfortunate notions of the caste and society disregard is that of a 14-year-old girl named Lalita who became pregnant in 2016 after she was allegedly raped by a friend of her family. The family friend, aged 55, offered Lalita a ride to a nearby city, which is when he raped her at knife point. Upon learning of her pregnancy as a result of the event, 6 months later, Lalita reported the case with her family's father's support. However, justice was not easily obtained. Coming from the Dalit caste, one of the poorest of the poor, the fact that they both were uneducated and illiterate, the police took advantage of the situation and didn't promptly investigate her case. It took about 2 years later that the police finally arrested the man. India's average rate of reported rapes is about 5.7 to 100,000 of a population. Even though this is not very high when compared to the rest of the world, it suffers from underreporting. According to a recent report in Livement, about 99% of the cases of sexual violence go unreported. If true, this would put India among the nation highest levels of crime in India against women. Overall, what is occurring in India is a crisis. From 23-year-olds to 14-year-olds and more, many women are being defiled and are not receiving the justice they deserve, stemming from the disrespect from the caste system in many religions. Men are growing up with an extremely twisted view of the values of women. Some of these men become more physically violent towards women and usually lead to rape. The high numbers of rapes are staggering, but what's more is the high amount of rapists walking free. Due to the poor and corrupt law enforcement systems in India, the few cases that are reported go without convictions, resulting in many women not giving the consideration they deserve. If you would like to learn more about these cases and learn about how some people are creating solutions to these problems, we've got you covered. There is a second part to this video in which my partner, Abigail, explores these cases further and sheds a light on this crisis. Thanks for watching and be a lookout for our next video.